Okay, so today we're going to start out doing a lab. We have been talking about triangles and tangent and stuff like that, but I realized there's one skill that we don't have so far. And this is going to get it first, but even before we do that, we need to do something else. And I've got Corey as my assistant today. If I do that, what is the measure of that angle, Corey? With the little square corner in there. Okay, that means it's 90 degrees, square corner.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So if I draw another triangle and I make this line longer, oh my goodness, that's not straight, like that. And I put another 90-degree angle there. What's 90 plus 90?
180.
Right, so 90 plus 90. And I'm talking about degrees, I'll put degrees in there. But what we get along the bottom is a nice straight line. So 180 degrees forms a straight line. This is going to become important in a little bit. All right, so I stole this from the grade 12s. So you're going to do it now, and then in grade 12 you get to do it again, but it's for marks and it's easy, so it's a bonus. We are going to look at the sum. What does sum mean, Corey? Add, subtract, multiply, divide?
Not sure.
That's okay. We're going to look at what happens when we add up the interior angles of a triangle. And it sounds weird to say interior angles because we rarely think of the outside ones, but interior angles are like this. So they're basically the ones that make up the corners of a triangle. Okay, so none of those outside ones. All right, so first thing you're going to do is we're going to rip this apart. This is our lab. And for those of you that are following along, your lab sheet is in your mailbox. I don't need that right now. All right, and we have some handy dandy pretty green Christmassy paper today. So cut your paper in half and fold it this way. I think kids call it the hamburger fold. You're gonna fold it in half, and then you're gonna cut it in half or rip it in half. So you get half a sheet of green. And I am following the instructions on my page. So there is my half a sheet of green. And then my next thing says, I'm gonna draw a triangle and make it big. And it doesn't matter what kind of triangle it is. Now I'm gonna make my triangle scaling just because, you know, something weird might happen in if I make it an isosceles triangle or an equilateral triangle that only works then. I want this to work on every single triangle. All right, that is the first part. And it doesn't matter what your triangle looks like, right? We got a triangle. And now I'm gonna write the letters. I'm gonna write any letters, but I'm gonna go A, B, and C. And I'm just gonna pause the video for a sec. Okay, so what we need to do now, and this is oddly the toughest part is I want you to take your pencil and just make an arc there and put a little X in the corner. Don't be really cheap and just do a teeny tiny bit. Make them pretty big because it'll make your life easier in a little bit. And I think I want to put a little X in the corner or a little spot, whatever. I'll make it a dot. And do that on A2. Now you need your handy dandy pair of scissors, and you are going to cut out the triangle. I guess through the magic of editing, I probably could let you not watch me do this. But if you're doing it along, you can do it at the same time as me. An important job is to take that and put it in recycling our way, because you don't want to use that paper anymore. So what I've got right now is my handy dandy triangle. It's cut out and it has got the corners labeled A, B, C. Now what we need to do is cut those arcs. So we're going to cut off each of the corners along those big curves that we made. And we're going to save the middle piece. We need all of these pieces. So we're going to cut off the corner. First one. And second one. Y'all can fast forward through this part. I'm sure you know how to do that on your computer, because it's not that exciting. So now I have my 3 corners and I've got the middle chunk. Now we need the lab piece. You know what, we're going to deal with the middle chunk first. All I'm going to do is, whoops, move it so you can see on the video. I'm just going to tape it on this side. It doesn't have to be all dainty and pretty. Boom, done. Yeah, fold it up. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Just fold it up and tape it there. Whoops. That is not the interesting part of the lab. The cool part of the lab is now you're going to take the 3 corners and you're going to put them so that the dot is where that star is. Yes, I did just move my mouse so I could lick my finger. Okay, so one's going to be like that. And then I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to line it up so that dot is where the star is. And then we're going to do the third one. And if you get it right, they should all line up delightfully and form a nice straight 180-degree angle. I'm going to tape them in place. It's a terrible day to have a case of fumble fingers. The last one goes there. So the point is that this angle, which of course I can't draw now, this angle here, this angle made by those three corners is 180 degrees. That's the point. So the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. And this seems to be a good way for students to remember it. So I'm going to pause the video and we're all going to do another triangle different from the first one and see if it still works. Maybe something, this was just a cool triangle that it worked for. It's not always going to work. So we're going to try a different one. All right, I didn't want you to have to sit there and watch me draw my triangle and cut it out and all that. But I did want to show you this one that I've drawn. It's more or less a 90-degree triangle. And I'm going to cut out the curves and tape it on my paper and see if it works when one of the angles is 90 degrees. All right, you can see I did it again. And I cut the corners off. And it worked out to be 180 degrees. And Corey, who is working over there, I can see from here, is also worked out to be 180 degrees. So the sum of the interior angles of a triangle, so when you add up the corner angles, is always going to be 180 degrees. So at the bottom of the page, the answer is 180 degrees. As for what is inductive reasoning, that is for grade 12, but it means if you see a pattern a bunch of times and you make a rule. So you're going to, inductive reasoning says, well, when I added up this triangle, when I added up the corners, I got 180 degrees. When I did this triangle, it added up to 180 degrees. And I see Corey's over there. They both added up to 180 degrees. So inductive reasoning says that all triangles, when I do this, are going to work out to be 180 degrees. Okay, that's the end of this video.